been a tough road for the Scouts as of late. They have lost 6 straight dating back to last Tuesday night against the Hamilton Joes. They lost on Sunday to the Lima Loco last 6-1. And Terry, the Bats just couldn't wake up, and I make a point of saying Terry because last time it was when I was talking to Terry, you were on the mend a little bit, but you're not quite back, but you're playing hurt. You're hurt but not injured, as the coaches would like to say.
Oh, about 75% Lance as I'm taking color today, normally in a play-by-play spot. Luckily, we have the very skilled Lance Morris providing your play-by-play accounts for today's game as I sound a little nasally here on the headset as I still recovering from a cold / a voice that has kind of disappeared just like those Scouts bats.
Funny how that works. So we're getting ready to start a little later than normal. It's right around 7:13. It's got a 7:05 first pitch. The rain's been off and on all day, really, since we were back in discipleship. I think it started coming down around 2:30, sometime around that time frame. And it's been off and on in big standouts ever since we see rain come down for a couple minutes, and then it'll stop, and then it'll come right back where we think it's going.
Yeah, you have to wonder how that affects the psyche of these two teams. Wanting to get ready to start right away, but then put it aside. Seems like finally at 7:13 we're going to get some great legs action here at Grady's field.
Now we're finally getting ready to start off this game. Terry coming up for the Licking County Settlers, its opponent for tonight.
Settlers will be Robbie Doring, the shortstop, Dustin Lee, the designated hitter, and Tanner Johnson, the center fielder.
First pitch from Ben Aldridge is going to be grounded towards Jordan Schaefer over at shortstop. And he'll get that one over to Kale Giddings at first in time for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out.
And from a pitcher that we didn't expect to see today, Lance, we both came into this game expecting John Crawford to take the mound. Looks like his starts to push tomorrow. Also thought Joey Levin might see the action on the rubber, but it's Ben Aldridge getting the start today.
So coming up now will be Dustin Lee, the DH for tonight. First one in there for a called strike 1. Dustin Lee comes into the day with a 304 average. Next one in just misses, evens up at 1-1.
Sellers missing 3 of their top players tonight: Kyle Holbrook, T.J. Lash, and Dylan Calhoun.
The 1-1 is lined out of play, puts it to 1-2. He has 6 RBIs on the season, comes from Northwood University up in Michigan. And the 1-2. Grounded over the head of Ben Aldridge at the mound. Schaefer will get to that at short. In time for the out on a nice stretch by Giddings over to first.
And a nice play by Jordan Schaefer, charges out all the way in. Originally, I thought Ben Aldridge was going to be able to handle that one, just stretches past his outreach glove. A good job by the shortstop. Make sure he was backing him up and in there for the play.
Brings up Tanner Johnson, the center fielder for today. Comes into the day hitting .368. Aldridge, of course, already ready on the mound. First one. In there for a called strike 1.
I expect that all day from Ben. He's going to go right at these batters, right down Broadway.
The 0-1. This is way outside. Evens up at 1-1, and Lincoln Reed getting a start behind the dish tonight.
This is Ben's 10th appearance.
The 1-1. Grounded to Solomon over at second. And he'll get that one over to Kale in time for the out. So the Lincoln County Settlers will go down 1-2-3 to start off this ballgame.
And only 8 pitches in that top half of the first inning for Ben Aldridge, and a great start.
So this game, at least starting off a little bit out of whack. We didn't know if we were going to start on time. We actually had to use our PA function up here to talk to Coach/GM Taylor Hargrove to ask if we were going to have a delay, because at that point in time we were not sure. The rain was sporadic, like we mentioned, but eventually getting the start a little bit later than normal, but we'll have to see how much the rain affects both of these teams today.
And what we've learned from these raining games here at Grady's Field, we've seen a number of them. is that it makes the field even faster. Field already plays fast, but once you have those grounders, they're just zipping along. So infielders definitely have to keep their heads on the swivel because the ball is coming at them extra fast.
So the starter for today, Braden Boucher for the Licking County Settlers, and this is a guy kind of in the same realm as Q McGrath near the tops of the league. ERA today, .37 ERA. It's a pretty good ERA, Terry.
Yes, best in the league. He has 25 strikeouts on the year compared to 8 walks given up. That's more to 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. He's had 24 to 30 innings pitched, so it's not like a guy that hasn't seen a lot of action. He's well seasoned on the mound. Has a 2-0 record. He actually played the Scouts in the first game between those two. In that first game, he threw 4 innings and gave up a couple of hits only before eventually being replaced with Nick Patrone, who got the loss in that contest, the 4-3 victory for the Scouts in Newark.
So we'll have to see if the Scouts can take it to them in a way they weren't able to that first time. I mean, when Boucher was on the mound, it really was once they went to the relievers, had a lot of guys walked on for them to actually start their real damage because they only had the 1 hit against Boucher.
Another big problem for the Sellers in the last matchup was errors. You have to watch Zach DeCamp at third base. He leads the league in errors. It really hurt the Sellers the last time these two teams played.
So now we're set for the bottom of the first inning. Terry, who's coming up for the Scouts?
Coming up for the Scouts will be Lee Solomon, who's playing second base today. Christian Binger playing left field today for the first time this season. And Kyle Carnahan, who is always playing third base.
Solomon at the dish in that right-hander's batter's box, ready to go against Boucher. First baseman will show one. He'll get it down, but it'll be right towards Boucher. He'll get that one over first in time for out number 1.
So 1 pitch, 1 out for Boucher. And the Sellers are the first team that Lee Solomon played against this season. He changed the team a little late. He went 0 for 2 in that game. He came in to relieve Christian Binger, who's now at the plate.
Christian Binger coming up to the plate. Like you mentioned, getting the start in left field today. First one to him. This is low for ball 1. Binger coming into the day, a .239 hitter with 10 RBIs. The 1-0. This is low for the second straight time, too, another count.
Christian went 1 for 7 last time these two teams played.
And the 2-0. And that one's lined into center field for a base hit. We'll see if that one gets past Johnson in center field. It will not, so Binger will have to hold up on first.
So a good start to this game from Christian Binger. Getting his first start in left field today. Looking pretty solid at the plate.
Brings up Kyle Carnahan, who had himself quite a weekend. Went 1 for 2 on Sunday, and on Saturday had 2 home runs against the Lima Locos.
And that big hit on Sunday also could have been a homer, just barely missing getting over that left center wall.
Carnahan at the dish here. Order first after his base hit. First one to Kyle. Misses for ball 1. Kyle comes in at a .266 hitter. Has raised his average tremendously over the last few days. And the 1-0. Binger fakes the steal. Carnahan's going to foul that one out of play.
And in the series against the Sellers, the first time around, Carnahan went 0 for 5. Was hit by a pitch a couple of times in one game. It was a surprise for the folder.
Did you say 0 for 5 or 1 for 5?
1.
Okay, I was about to say. The 1-1. Thought about it, but held up. I was going to be confused because he had that 1 home run against the Sellers.
Game 1, I believe that was.
2-1 the count to Kyle Carnahan. Binger still over at first. And they're going to check on Binger over at first. He'll be in there in plenty of time. Binger does have 4 steals on that could warrant the throw over. Still a 2-1 count to Carnahan. 2-1 pitch. Binger is on the move on this hit and run attempt. Just misses hitting Christian. It'll be into right field for a base hit, and Christian's going to get all the way over to third.
Perfectly executed hit and a run as Christian was on the move. Now runners will be on the corners. Yeah, I love the nimble feet from the left fielder there, avoiding getting hit by that baseball.
Had he had any less of a jump, that ball might have struck him because he was just barely in front of that one. And of course, if you're hit in the field of play, you are out. So good job from Christian avoiding the ball, and got by Kyle getting it into play on the hit and run.
At the very minimum, would have broke his stride, and there's a chance he could have been thrown out at third if he would have went that route. So good, fortunate break for the Scouts to have runners on the corners over now.
Brings up David Kahn, the DH for tonight. Went 1 for 4 on Sunday against Lima. First one to Kahn. Misses for ball 1.
Kahn went 0 for 9 in the series against Settlers the first time around.
And the Scouts still managed to win both those games with their four-hitter not getting a hit. The 1-0. In there for a call, strike 1, evens it up at 1 ball, 1 strike.
Remember Boucher's last start, he gave him 2 hits the entire game, already 2 hits so far here in the bottom of the first inning for the Scouts.
Runners at the corners for David Gone with 1 down here in the bottom of the first. Still no score on the board. And the 1-1, and he's going to call time before the pitch was out.
Just in time, as Boucher did throw it like he thought he was going towards the dish. So a late time call from David. Luckily it was granted.
Still a 1-1 count to Gaunt. One half of the Washburn-Ichabod duo, the other half on first base. 1-1 catches the outside corner for a called strike 2, makes it a 1-2 count.
Boucher already came into this game with 25 strikeouts on the year.
And they're going to check on Kyle over at first. He'll be in there safely.
That'll be good for 5th most in the league, tied with Scout starter Ben Aldridge, and also Scouts Q McGrath.
Gone lines that one towards third, but it'll go just foul. Stays alive at 1-2. One and two count to Gaunt. 5 home runs, 25 RBIs on the season to go along with 9 doubles. Boucher taking his time on the rubber. He comes to a set, the 1-2. Just misses on the breaking ball, evens it up at 2-2.
These two teams, the most struggling teams in the league right now, Scouts on a 6-game losing streak, the Sailors on a 3-game losing streak, so someone has to come out of Grady's field for a W today.
You would think. The rain could change that.
We'd have seen a tie this league play.
2-2. Kyle's on the move over at second. He's going to be safe, and they're going to try and score Christian, and he's going to be out even though he was under the tag.
Oof.
That was terrible.
That was a
Pretty sure he slid
close
it.
play at the
Pretty
plate.
sure he slid it.
I think Christian Binger was very surprised he didn't get the run scored. Kyle Carnegie does get the stolen bases and scoring position, but I think Christian is shocked as he heads back to the dugout.
Probably because he slid it under the tag. I'm going to guess that. That's probably right. But nonetheless, we'll count to David Gaunt. Carnahan over on second with 2 down.
It was a risky play for the Scouts and didn't pay off, but I like their aggressive nature.
And the 3-2. Swung on and missed. Gaunt's going to go down on strikes.
I think John thought he hit that one. He was a little hesitant to leave the batter's box. But it'll be another strikeout for Gaunt. And now 0 for 10 in the series against the Settlers has struggled against these pitchers a little bit. And Scouts in there. They got Christian Binger on third base. Thought they might be able to bring him home, but a tag at the plate called. And crushing end to the bottom of the first inning for the Xenia Scouts.
And if you guys saw something different on the live stream, please tell us. But at least to me, it really looked like Christian got under that tag.
And we'll have to see how that affects the game later on. As remember, the first contest between these two teams is a 4-3 score, so runs may be at a minimum here today as we move on in this contest.
Now Ben Aldridge out there for his second inning of work. Still no score after one inning of play between the Lincoln County Settlers and your Xenia Scouts. Lincoln County Settlers coming into the day with an 11-13 record. Scouts 14-12, and very different from the first two times these teams played. Going into that series, Lincoln County had been undefeated. The Scouts had just had the one loss to lose.
Yeah, it was the two top teams in the league at that point. Now two teams that are fighting for that sixth spot in the playoff standings, and it's just been a downward spiral for the Scouts as of late. Hold on. Now down to 14-12 on the year when they were 14-6. Remember, played 40 games in Great Lakes League schedule, so only 14 games left.
Zacta came up for Settlers. Misses low for a ball. Two guys from Lake Erie College now, with Cale Giddings over at first for the Scouts, and Zacta Camp playing through and cleanup for the Settlers.
And we saw the Camp and Giddings before the game having an embrace, catching up. It's like two friends from Lake Erie College, a couple of Storm members.
And the 1-0. Misses on that one, 2-0.
The Camp batted .382 on the year. Having a phenomenal season for the Settlers. He's a team in batting average.
The 2-0. And there for a called strike one. To Camp with 2 home runs to go with 14 RBIs and 5 stolen bases. And the 2-1. Lined over towards first base. That'll go foul. Makes it 2 count.
Ben would love to break that tie with a bundle of pitchers in this league with 25 strikeouts on the year. He could be tied for 4th in the league if he gets number 26, 1 strike away from that.
The 2-2. Got him looking. Strike 3. He gets that strikeout you weren't talking about, Terry.
So now he's tied for 4th in the league, and he's now the team leader as Q McGrath has 25 on the season. And Camp knew that one because he started walking into the dugout as soon as that Lincoln reads it.
Brings up Chad Wagner, their left fielder. First one to him. And there for a called strike 1.
Chaffern, Montevallo University.
The 0-1. And there for a called strike 2. Quickly up 0-2 is Ben Aldrich.
And both times he went to the inside corner. Good job from Ben trying to handcuff Wagner here, and he's really hitting in spots early on.
And the 0-2. Wastes one to the outside, makes it a 1-2 count.
All the other games tonight are either in a rain delay right now or are canceled. We'll keep you up on those.
1-2. Breaking pitch misses inside, evens it up at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
As Lima Locust and Northern Ohio Baseball Club game is already canceled, all the others.
2-2 was lined towards Kyle Carnahan at third. He'll get that one over to Cale in time for out number 2.
And the other games on schedule tonight are the Cincinnati's team, who are in Galleon on their Twitter feed that they have bad weather and aren't sure if they're going to be able to play. The Mariners goes to the contest tonight. That one hasn't been started yet. Neither has the Lake Erie Monarchs down in Athens at Bob Wren Stadium and taking on Southern Ohio Copperhead. So right now, this is your only game going on in the league.
Now Kevin Hickey up to the plate for the Settlers. First one in misses outside low for ball 1.
And we'll keep you updated on those games throughout today's contest.
And the 0-1-0. And that one's lined out towards left field. But Christian Binger's going to get under that one for the final out of the inning. So for the second straight inning, Settlers go down 1, 2, 3.
And that's the first time we've seen Christian Binger in action in the left field this year. First time he's been tested. That sounds weird to us, but Christian is an outfielder at Southwest Baptist University with all conference this year, so has plenty of experience in the field. We haven't seen him in the right field this year. First time we got to see him in left. Not sure what his normal position is at college, but looked pretty all right there.
Yeah, with the Scouts, with a lot of injuries and different things going on, what have you, guys having to go home for different types of breaks, see their family, that kind of thing. We've seen a lot of guys play in different positions and they aren't quite used to. Talk about Christian right there. He's played the majority of his minutes at second base this season. We've seen a bunch of different guys shift from their typical positions. Jonathan Bravo listed as an infielder, played shortstop at Texas Wesleyan, played a little bit at second base before moving primarily to right field and left field when he's in the lineup for the Scouts.
And you have to wonder if this move from Coach Bubba Case is just mix things up a bit. The Scouts are 6-game slide. Why not try something new? What was working before clearly not working for the Scouts. Maybe move things around a little bit, see what happens.
So a little bit of sprinkles coming down here at Grady's field. Xenia High will let you know if anything happens, whether it's a delay or lightning strikes, anything of that nature. We'll let you know right here, and we'll probably turn our levels down and keep you up to date through our Twitter. Of course, at Xenia Scouts, you can find us on Twitter and all of our social media Scouts signs, either at Xenia Scouts or at Xenia Scouts Baseball, as Kale Giddings digs into the dish. First one to Kale. Breaking pitch in there for a call. Strike one.
That was a beautiful curve by Boucher on that one. Broke a righty.
In the 0-1. This is low, even since 1-1. Kale did not play on Sunday after getting 2 straight starts. Friday did some modest on Saturday against the Broncos. 1-1 break. Ball stays up high in the zone, makes it a 2-1 count. And the 2-1. Misses low and outside, makes it a 3-1 count. Giddings with a 261 average on the season. And the 3-1. This is inside. He will walk Kale Giddings to put the leadoff batter on to start the second inning.
We've been seeing a lot more of Kale Giddings last week, and for good reason. He's been very patient at the plate. He's been doing a good job getting on that time from the walk variety.
It'll be Kale's 5th walk on the young season. Doesn't have a whole lot of at-bats during the Scouts later on in the season and hasn't been an everyday starter. Lincoln Reed now up to the plate. To him. Misses for ball 1. Lincoln had a nice day on Sunday. Was our player of the game. Went 2 for 4 against the Locos. And the 1-0. This is inside. Nice stop there by D'Amato behind the dish.
Lincoln Reed last time against the Steelers had a fantastic series. He went 4 for 8, actually, after those 2 games was leading the team in batting average.
Kale getting still over at first after drawing the walk. 2-0 to Lincoln. He lines that one up towards left field. We'll see if that one stays in play. And it will not. It'll fly out of play for strike 1.
That one just air outside the Scouts' bullpen area, so not much chance to make a play on that one for the camp.
2-1 count to Lincoln as their catcher appears to be tying his right shoe. Got to make sure those shoes are tied.
Yeah, smart move by D'Amato. You don't want to be caught tripping on your cleats as you're coming up to attempt a Kale Giddings steal for the first time this year.
And the 2-1. And he went around on that one, but it gets away from the catcher, and Kale will advance to second.
So it wasn't a steal, but it was a pass ball, and it was on a move, something we don't see very often out of Giddings.
I think looks like they were going to argue that he hit that, but it looked like Lincoln whiffed on that. Didn't hear it hit anything, so.
Huh. I didn't either.
2-2 count to Lincoln. Kale over on second after the pass ball. And the 2-2. And that one's lined on a shot towards first base, but it'll get out of play.
Yeah, that was an absolute rope. If Lincoln Reed would have been able to give that one a fair play, Giddings definitely would have been able to come home.
And the 2-2. Lays off that one in the turf. Makes it a full count, 3-2.
So another full count for Boucher. We saw one with David Gaunt in the bottom of the first inning.
And the 3-2. That one's hit on a rope as well down the right field line. Got a nice chunk of that. Just wasn't able to keep that one in play to go foul.
We have seen a change in the batting stance of Grady. Now, he watches bat. He moves it much more violently at the plate from behind his shoulder up towards the front of his face before we saw the beginning of the season.
And the 3-2. And he'll lay off that one low and away as well. So 2 straight walks. We'll put runners at first and second for Miles Wright.
Miles Wright batting .250 on the year. Went 3 for 8 in that original series against the Settlers. Had a pretty good 2-game span. See if he can continue that here. You see DeCamp over there at third base, I think, well aware of Miles Wright's bunting reputation, not too far off the bag.
So we'll see what Miles does here with nobody out. Bottom of the second inning, still zeros on the scoreboard between the Settlers and the Scouts. First one to Miles, he'll show a bunt, pulls it back, but it'll be strike one anyway.
Boucher only had 8 walks in the year coming into today, a fourth of that total so far in this inning alone.
1-1 count to Miles, and he'll check on Keel over at first with the step off. Keel will be in there without a throw. Definitely not a lot of speed on the base pass for the Scouts with Keel at second and Lincoln at first. The 0-1 Miles shows a bunt again, but pulls it back. This time it'll be ball one.
And you have seen catch mark at first depth as he continues to scoot in. A little bit of he has to stay close with her just in case Kale Giddings would be stealing, which will not be happening.
1-1 Miles shows a bunt again. I want to go outside for another ball. 2-1 the count to Miles, right? Miles comes into the day hitting .250. Was 0 for 4 on Sunday against Lima. And the 2-1. Shows bunt again, pulls it back on strike 2. 2 count.
So it will not be Miles throw that bunt attempt out now with those 2 strikes against them. And still 0 outs here in the bottom of the second.
2-2 count to Miles. Right, runners at first and second for the Scouts. Nobody down in the bottom of the second. 2-2. This is low and outside. Second straight full count.
And a third of the game, he's done a great job of getting Boucher's pitch count up. He's been so dominant this year with that .37 ERA. He's been in danger a couple times with the Scouts so far.
3-2 count to Miles, right. Nobody down here in the bottom of the second. And the 3-2. And he'll miss low and outside again. 3 straight walks from Boucher will load him up for Levi Gilcrease.
Not just 3 straight walks, but on large pitch count, 3-1, then 3-2 to the next 2 batters. Boucher's really struggling out there.
And this is against the bottom of the Scouts lineup. The highest hit Giddings with 261 and much less at-bats than all these guys down at the bottom of the order except Jordan Schaefer.
We start with the 5-hitter now, all the way to the 8th batter, and Levi Gilcrease. He's batting .200 on the year, but in the first time around against the Sellers, he did bat 3 for 9 for a .333 average. He was actually player of the game in the first contest between these 2 teams in that 4-3 victory. He had a couple hits in that one.
And Levi's been swinging the bat fairly well as of late. Was struggling early on last week. Had a 0 for 4 game against the Joes where he had 3 Ks. Since then, got, I think, a hit in every single game. So we'll see what Levi can do here with nobody out. Bottom of the second inning, still zeros on the scoreboard. First one to Gilcrease. Swung on and missed for strike 1.
On deck will be Jordan Schaefer, the shortstop. He did not play in the last series. His first game was last Sunday against the Raiders in that
Now the 0-1. Another swing in and miss from Levi, quickly down 0-2.
Boucher not messing around, hitting that inside corner against Gilcrease.
Quickly 0-2 to Levi Gilcrease. Bases loaded for the Scouts here in the bottom of the second. Still zeros on the scoreboard. And the 0-2. Got him looking as it somehow catches the outside corner, and Gilcrease will go down on strikes for the 29th time this season.
At least Ligon, you got to swing on it if it's close enough that 0-2 count. You can't go down like that. That's been some of Levi's problems this year. See if you go correct it next time is up. As Jordan Schaefer steps up to the plate.
Schaefer up to the plate with one down. First one to him. And there for a called strike one. So Boucher seems to have found his rhythm after walking the first three batters.
Well, that was a slow start anyway. Really. That was a bad start.
The 0-1. And there for another strike quickly up 0-2 is Boucher on Schaefer.
So 5 strikes thrown by Boucher. Like you said, I think he found his rhythm. Now tied with Ben Aldridge with those 26 strikeouts on the season.
And time will be called. Kale Giddings over at third. Lincoln Reed on second. Miles Wright on first. All of them reaching due to walks from Boucher. And the 0-2. Swung on and missed. Schaefer will go down on strikes as well.
After walking 3 batters, he strikes out the next 2, and Boucher single-handedly trying to get himself out of his own jam as Lace Solomon plays.
So Solomon now comes up to the plate with 2 down, bottom of the second. Bases are loaded. First one to Lee. That one's lined up towards first base. And that one will fly out of play.
So 7 straight strikes from Boucher now.
Lee grounded out to Boucher in his first at-bat in the opening inning. Boucher will come to his set. The 0-1. That one's in the turf for ball 1-1 the count.
And that breaks the strike streak and ends at 7, but still pretty impressive pitching from Boucher after loading the bases. It just testament to his calm nature to be in such dangerous position, bases loaded, no outs, all that you're doing, and to come back and strike triple batters now. Solomon.
1-1 count to Lee Solomon, 2 down. Bottom of the second, zeros on the scoreboard between the Steppers and the Scouts. 1-1 will be fouled back. Makes it a. So after getting their first 3 batters up on base, Scouts down to their last strike here, in danger of leaving 3 guys on. Shea comes to a set in the 1-2. That one misses low and in the dirt. Nice stop to prevent the pass ball.
Yeah, DiMatteo, good job there because now the deep backs up here at Grady Field. Easily a run scored by the big man, Cale Giddings.
2-2 count to Lee Solomon. And the 2-2 pitch. Now he's lined out towards right field, but that will be caught by Keratin to end the inning. Scouts will strand. The bases loaded.
Runners left on has been a big trend in this losing streak for the Scouts, already with 4 runners left on base through 2 innings. And that, I don't know if there's been a bigger problem than that and this streak. And you just can't do that. Put bases loaded on 3 gimme walks, and then next 3 batters can't get a single runner home. So really, really unfortunate inning for the Scouts.
And not even that, just the fact that Lee Solomon was the only guy to even put the ball in play.
And that was 6 straight strikes to both Gilchrist and Schaefer. Not a contact in the bunch. Situations like that is what really hurts teams. You have a score update in the bottom of the first inning. It's like the Southern Ohio Copperheads and Lakeview Monarchs are away as the Monarchs are losing that one 3-0.
So Ben Aldridge will be back out there for now his third inning of work. Done some good job working through the Settlers lineup. He's gotten the first 6 guys to all go down. Ben came into the day with a 3 ERA with 30 innings pitched, 20-some strikeouts, 12 walks. This is his 10th appearance on the season, just his 4th start. He was a late addition to the starting rotation after the injury to Seth Hallmark. We might catch Mark to lead it off for the Settlers here in the top of the third.
Number 19, playing at first base,
Ketchmark playing first base today. First one from Aldridge. Misses inside for ball 1. Now the 1-0. Misses way outside like they got away from him a bit. 2-0 the count.
Ketchmark is one of a number of players on the Sellers team from Dartmouth University. They didn't play in the first game in the first go-around between these two squads, but did play in game number 2.
And the 2-0. Catches the outside corner for strike 1. 2-1 the count. Ketchmark hitting .283 on the season with 5 RBIs. 2-1 in for another called strike. 2-2 the count. And the 2-2. That one's fouled out of play. We'll do it again at 2-2. And now the 2-2. Thought about that one, but Ketchmark was able to hold up in the dirt. 3-2 to count.
I believe this will be the first full count for Ben and the 7th batter faced.
And the 3-2. Swung on and missed. He gets Ketchmark to go down on strikes for his second strikeout of the day.
And number 27 on the year. That puts him alone in 4th in the league. Ketchmark now 1 for 6 in this series in the season against the Scouts as he went 1 for 5 in his first game against the team.
First one from Aldridge. It's ground just past the diving kill. He's in a diving Lee Salmon on the right side of the infield. And DiMatteo will be in there with a single.
So Damos hits on first base with his first hit, and this is the 5th game he's played this year. First pitch swinging, first hit of the day given up by Aldridge.
Now Luke Hurton up to the plate for the Settlers. The right fielder comes to us from Indiana University, a little Big Ten representation.
DiMatteo on the not stolen the base yet, so or has attempted to see if he has any wheels over there.
First one to Hurton. In there for a call strike 1 on the outside corner. Hurton hitting .245 on the season with 1 home run with 8 RBIs. 0-1 gets him to swing at that breaking pitch that she went outside this quickly up. It was Ben Aldridge. And the 0-2. Didn't get him to chase at that one. Makes it a 1-2 count. And Aldridge will check on DiMatteo over at first. He'll be in there safely.
Something we haven't seen Aldridge do as much with a runner on first base. He usually normally throws a number of times to try to pick off the runner.
And the 1-2. Grounds out one towards Schaefer at short. He'll get it over Lee Solomon for 1, but doesn't get it over to first in time to complete the double play.
But still a good job by Schaefer, thinking heads up, wanting to get the lead runner out at second base. Smartest thing he could have done in that situation.
So now there's 2 down here in the top of the third. Back out to the top of the order, and Robbie Doring, the shortstop from the University of Dayton. First one's in there for a called strike 1.
Dan, of course, right down the road from us here in Xenia, Ohio. About a 20-minute drive.
The 0-1. This is low for ball 1, 1-1 the count. Kierton now over at first after the fielder's choice. 1-1 breaking pitch goes outside. 2-1 the count. Aldridge still working fairly fast, even with runners on base today. And the 2-1. Kierton on the move, but that one's going to be in play just past Kale over at first. Kierton's going to advance all the way over to third. So Miles right off that just throw it into second to limit the damage. Runners at the corners with 2 down.
So the second hit and run we've seen today. This one from the Settlers for the first time, and now they have runners on the corners. There's the second hit given up by Ben, and the Scouts in a little bit of trouble now.
Dustin Lee now up to the plate. He grounded out to Jordan Schaefer back in inning number 1. Runners at the corners, 2 down, top of the third. Zeros on the board between the Settlers and the Scouts. First one to Lee. This is low for ball 1. Lee came into the day hitting .304 with 6 RBIs. The 1-0. Just misses the outside corner. 2-0 the count.
Those 6 RBIs back from the team would love to improve on that rank.
2-0 is grounded towards Schaefer at shortstop. He'll get that one over to Kale in time for the final out of the inning. So second straight time, Lee grounds out to Schaefer. This time it'll be the end of the 3rd inning.
And that was a bullet off the arm of Schaefer because that was a really high bounce. That chopper went high to the sky. Schaefer had to wait what seemed like forever on it before it finally fell gracefully into his glove, and he delivered the ball to first base and Kale Giddings. But very close play over there at first base. Scouts lucky to get out of that one, and the Settlers on.
So just finished the top of the 3rd. Still no score on the board between the Settlers and your Xenia Scouts. We thank you for making us part of your Tuesday here. Watch it, listen to us on our Google Hangout / YouTube Hangout. Also can, of course, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all of our social media outlets. And, of course, can find us at xeniascouts.com. Braden Boucher out there for his 3rd inning of work for the Settlers. Like we mentioned earlier, he was 2-0 coming into the day with 24 and 1/3 innings pitched. He's near the tops of the league in strikeouts and has a .37 ERA.
I was very impressed in the bottom of the 2nd inning after not looking very good, loading the bases on walks, and was able to fight his way out of it, hit a couple of strikeouts and a fly ball to right field. Very hard to get out of a bases loaded, no out situation without giving up any runs.
Christian Binger will lead it off in the bottom of the 3rd for your Xenia Scouts. First one to him in there for a called strike 1.
Binger now 2 for 8 on the series against the Settlers on the year after the single back in the 1st inning.
The 0-1 misses inside, 1-1 the count. The 1-1. This is low for ball 2, 2-1 the count. And after Christian's hit in the 1st inning, it gives him 22 hits up versus 19 walks. 2-1. This is way outside. That one will get away from Di Matteo behind the dish.
2-2.
Binger with those 19 walks in you, tied for second most in the league, one behind Kevin Sullivan for the league lead.
Next one to Binger will be ball 4. As there's a little miscommunication between our stats and our scoreboard, as that was the correct call. So that'll be the 4th walk of the day for Boucher.
Remember, he came into today's contest with 8 walks to 24 and a third inning pitch, so half of that here today. Wonder if the wet ball perhaps playing a part in that.
So Christian Binger's out for the 2nd time today. First one to Kyle Carnahan misses the tad outside for ball 1. Carnahan got on in the first inning with a base hit to right field on the hit and run.
It's the first time we've seen Damo DiMatteo behind the plate, and the first time in the series it was Ian Criston, who apparently is no longer on the team.
Now the 1-0. And there for a called strike 1 on the count.
Garnett is not happy about that call. He thought it was a little too far inside, a little too close to his white pants, but 1-1 even up regardless.
And they're going to check on Christian Binger, and he's just going to be safe over first. Actually stumbled getting back, was lucky to be there in time.
He was mid-hop on his leadoff when Boucher fired the quick pickoff attempt, and Christian was in the water, but it kind of bounced into first base, and I think that's the reason why he was able to extend his fingers to get back to the bag in time.
1-1. Carnahan skies that one up over towards shortstop Doring. He'll get under that one for the first out of the inning.
And easy to put that one away from Doring. It goes way up in the air, and again, Carnahan just a little too far under that one.
Brings up David Connie. Struck out. His first at bat in number 1. Spinger's still over on first after his leadoff walk to give him 20 walks on the season. They check on Binger again at first. He'll be back in town. So waiting on the first pitch to Gaunt. They're going to check on Binger again. It's at first. He'll be Binger again. Still no count to David Gaunt. Checked on Christian over at first twice. Now the first one to Gaunt will be fouled out of play just over our head.
Gaunt and I now tie for second in the league in RBIs with Brett Murray of the Loma Locos we saw on Sunday. Andy Young from the Hamilton Joes now with 30 after another homer yesterday. He's had an impressive stretch the last few days.
And they'll check on Binger over at first again. He's in there in time. So definitely preoccupied with Binger over there at first. The 0-1 to Gaunt. Breaking pitch just wasn't able to catch up to that one. 0-2 to count to Gaunt. So 0-2 count to David Gaunt. Came into the day hitting .337 to lead the Scouts. And the 0-2. Wasted one up high. 1-2 to count. Going with 5 homers, 5 RBIs. Tied for second in the league. The 1-2. Swung on and missed. Gaunt's going to go down on strikes for the second time today.
Be the 4th strikeout of the day for Boucher, who is now up to 29 on the year, one away from the illustrious 30 mark.
Okay, Giddings now up to the plate. 2 down here. Bottom of the 3rd inning, Christian Binger over at first after drawing a leadoff walk this inning. First one to Kale. Misses in the dirt for ball 1.
I'm going to have to go back and throughout the course of the game to when Christian Binger in the first inning came home on a close play at the plate and was ruled out.
The 1-0. Thought about going at that curveball, doesn't. And it'll be in there for a called strike 1. 1-1 count to Cale Gettings. Christian Binger still over at first. They'll check on Binger over at first. Not a perfect throw there from Boucher.
Absolutely right, Lance. Bounce. Second time we've seen that. I pick up a time that bounce on the turf, and that's very dangerous over that there at first base for Catchmark. Good job stopping it.
And now the 1-1. Now one's fouled back towards us. It'll be 1-2. One and 2 counts to Cale Giddings. Christian Binger still over at first. And the 1-2. Swung on and missed. Cale Giddings will go down on strikes, and that'll be the 5th strikeout of the game for Boucher.
And for the second straight inning, he strikes out a pair of scouts to get to that 5th strikeout. And he's been in some danger. He's had runners on the corners with 1 out. He's had bases loaded with no outs. But somehow Brady Boucher continually gets out of the jam.
It's Ben Aldridge now heading out to the mound, take his few warm-up pitches here before he gets set to face the meat of the Licking County Settlers lineup. He'll start off with Tanner Johnson, the center fielder, grounded out to Lee Solomon back in the first inning. And it'll be Zach DeCamp. He struck out looking to start off the second inning. And next up, it'll be Chad Wagner, the left fielder. He grounded out to Kyle Carnahan. That was also back in inning number 2.
And that was the 5th batter left on from the Scouts through 3 innings as Christian Binger was stranded at first base.
The Scouts have to play a little more defense before they can get a chance to do anything on offense. They've done a good job of getting guys on, but haven't been able to get any to score. And like you said, it could go back to that call where Christian Binger was called out at the plate. That really could have changed the tide in this game.
Absolutely. It's a big momentum call as well. See if the inning could continue all the way back in the first inning, but I guess we'll never know.
Now batting center fielder number 8, Johnson.
Tanner Johnson up to the plate for the Settlers to start off this 4th inning. First one in was lined right towards Lee Solomon at second. I'll get that one over to Cale in time for out number 1. And that wasn't an easy play, mind you. It was hit very hard, but Solomon made it look easy at second.
You know, it bounced right before, maybe a foot or two. Good job catching on the 1 hop. Very fastball. Remember, with the wet field turf, raining, even downpouring earlier, the balls would be moving fast on the bounce, but Lee Solomon used to this field turf. Did a good job.
This one is Zach DeCamp. It's in there for a call strike 1.
DeCamp was caught looking last time he was up.
Chad Wagner. Well, I was going to do his last name.
Next one's fouled out of place. Quickly down 0-2 is Zach DeCamp. The 0-2. That one's grounded towards Schaefer over at short. He'll get that one over to Cale at first in time for out number 2.
Again, a quick inning so far for Ben Aldridge, whose pinch count was not that high here on the top of the 4th inning.
It's Chad Wagner coming up to the dish.
This will be the 46th pitch on the afternoon for Ben.
First pitch is in there for a called strike 1. Now the 0-1. This is outside, evens it up at 1-1. And now the 1-1. Breaking pitch in there for a called strike 2. Nice curve there from Ben.
Yeah, Ben, his fastball's working. He's hitting his corners. His curveball's working. It has a nice break to it.
Now the 1-2. And that one's line just past Ben's glove at the mound. Great stop there by Lee. He's not going to get that over to first in time, but great stop to keep that one from getting into the outfield.
Also, Ben got a tip up his leather on. I think it slowed it down just a tad. Well, at least slide. Stop it. I thought it might originally have a play at first base, but not nearly in time.
Brings up Kevin Hickey, the second baseman for the Settlers. Hickey flew out to Binger left back in the second inning. First one to Hickey. Grounds on towards Cal Carnahan at third, but it will go foul.
It's lucky bounce for Hickey because Kyle Carnahan was ready to throw to first in the inning.
Hickey came into the day hitting .260 on the season with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. Wagner over at first after his hit with 2 down. Aldridge will check on him over there. Just quick throw to keep him honest.
Hickey went 3 for 7 in his first go against the Scouts in those 2 games.
Now the 0-1. Just misses the outside corner. 1-1 on the count.
Also scored a couple of runs and had one home, so pretty good first time there at Don Edwards Field in Newark, Ohio.
Aldridge checks on Wagner again. He's in there in time.
Sure. I like
Now the 1-1. Breaking pitch in there for a called strike, too. Hickey wanted to go at that one, chose to lay off, and it's in there for a called strike.
Well, that one curved so far, you didn't know if it was going to leave the entire strike zone, but he got that outside corner, so another beautiful pitch by Ben.
And the 1-2. Just misses on that one low. 2-2 to count. Two and two count, 2 down, top of the 4th inning. A runner on first for the Settlers. And they'll check on that runner over first, and Chad Wagner, he's in there in time.
That is one problem the Scouts have had this year. Pickoff attempts getting past the first baseman on either misplay by first or at pitcher.
2-2. Just misses low and outside again. Full count to Kevin Hickey, 3-2.
Second full count of the day for Ben. The first time around, he struck out Michael Ketchmark, who is on deck right now.
And the 3-2. That one's grounded towards Schaefer over at short. And he'll get that one over to Kale at first in time for the out. So the Settlers will strand one in the top of the 4th and don't have anyone come around to score.
Good play for Jordan there because normally he'd be going to second for the force on easy play because he was only a few feet from the bag. But it was a hit and run. And I look like Chad Wagner would have been safe if he tried to beat him out. Had all of his focus on the throw to first, and even as Wagner slid towards him in a nice routine throw. And that's how you get avoid errors.
Yeah, Hickey knew that Wagner would be on the move with a full count, 2 down. Have to send that guy anyway. See if he can make something happen, make someone make an unforced mistake. But luckily Schaefer realized that, looked over to second, knew he didn't have time to just flip it over there for the out, and knew to go over to Kale at first for the final out of the inning.
So Ben is now going through 4 without giving up a run. He came in today with a 3.00 ERA and looking really solid so far in the start against one of the best pitchers in the league in Brady Boucher.
The Scouts will be led off here in the bottom of the 4th by Lincoln Reed. Got a walk back in the second inning and was stranded over on second. And when Miles, right fielder for today's contest, also reached on a walk and was stranded over at first. And then next up will be Levi Gilcrease. He was the first out of that second inning, and he struck out for his 29th strikeout on the season. Now Lincoln Reed up to the plate, the switch hitter, batting from the left side. First one to him is rounded towards Hickey at second. And he'll get that one over to Ketchmark in time for out number 1, 1 pitch, 1 out.
At right field, number 2, Miles Bryant.
Miles Red will now come up. Came into the day 250. Is tied for the team lead in steals with 7, but it's Lee Solomon, but Solomon's been caught 4 times. Miles Wright's 1. It's 1 down here in the bottom of the 4th. Miles will show a bunt, pulls it back, but it's in there for strike 1.
I mean, you saw DeCamp on his giddy up over there at third base as he was playing a little off that time. Probably see him playing a little closer to the bag now.
Jonas skied out towards left field. And Gladner will catch that one just short of the warning track for round number 2. Miles got a nice piece of that one. That's probably one of the longer balls we've seen from him all season.
Yeah, but that was more of a Kyle Carnahan ball as he got a little too far under that one. Nice power from Miles. It was warning track as it's about 319 in left field, but hung up a little bit in the sky. Just going to be recorded as another out.
First pitch to Levi Gilcrease. He'll show the bunt, but he pulls it back as that one got away from DiMatteo. Gilcrease went 1 for 4 on Sunday against the Locos. The 1-0. Shows the bunt, flies that one back into the netting right in front of us for strike 1.
We've seen a lot of bunts being laid down out there. Only one's been in the field of play that opened up the hitting for the Scouts. I believe Solomon, he was thrown out at first.
And if you're the Scouts, you got to remember that DeCamp had a lot of errors last time he was out at third, and Gilcrease will fly that one out over our heads. And the 1-2. Swung on and missed. Gilcrease is going to go down on strikes once again. It'll be his 30th on the season.
Yep. It's been a struggle to play today for Levi Gilcrease, and seeing some encouragement from his teammates in the dugouts. He's still trying to find that swing of his here. The game number 27 of the season. Wow. Here we are, 27. That is hard to believe. This was game 5 and 6, if I recall correctly, between these two teams after they played the Monarchs and then the Locos, and then it was the Settlers. And now already on 27, 21 games later. Really, really strange. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking for Lance Morris and myself, Terry Lash, to bring you Xenia Scouts baseball on a nearly daily occurrence. Loved hearing the feedback from all the fans out there. Many of you parents of these great young men who we've gotten to know personally are great friends and brothers of ours, and it's been an absolute pleasure getting you guys the play-by-play accounts of all these games.
And now Ben Aldridge out there once again, getting set for his 5th inning of work. Still no action in either bullpen, so seems like each of these starters have a pretty long leash. So Michael Ketchmark will be up to start off this inning for the Settlers. First one to him is lined way out of play on a rope, but hit very well. Ketchmark struck out to start off the 3rd inning. And now the 0-1. That one's fouled back. It'll stay in play, but put still down. 0-2 is Ketchmark. That one will be grounded towards Carnahan at 3rd. And he'll get that one over to Kilgang's in time for out number 1.
Something we talk about frequently but doesn't get enough credit is Kyle Carnahan starting his 27th straight game. Only player on the team to start every single game in his position this season. He's been a workhorse and then some for the Scouts this year.
First one is lined out of play by DiMatteo, the catcher. Comes to us from the University of Memphis, so maybe Ben Aldridge knows this guy a little bit. 0-1's in there for a called strike. Quickly up 0-2 is Aldridge.
Also, Zach Wiley is from just outside of Memphis, so maybe pass have crossed at some point. Austin Orr, also from Jackson, Tennessee.
The 0-2 is a curveball. It's lined out towards center field. Levi Gilkis will get under that one for the second out of the inning.
Christian worship. Just wake us up right here, bro. All right. Give us something good right here. Lights out. Thank you, brother.
Playing at right field, number
Now Luke
37.
Curitan up to the plate. Right field, Indiana.
Oh.
Hit into a fielder's choice his last time up. First one to him's in there for a called strike one. Ben doing a good job getting called strike ones, especially in this inning.
Yeah, he's remaining aggressive all the way through to the fifth.
The 0-1 is grounded foul. Quickly up 0-2 for the third straight batter.
What was it? I don't know. I got
And the 0-2. This is that one in the turf. 1-2 the count.
funky. Oh, my word.
1-2 count to Curitan.
That's college.
And the 1-2. And that one's going to be grounded foul down the first base line. We'll do it again at 1-2.
What are you playing? She said funky Jesus. I don't know.
And the 1-2. That one's skied out towards center field. Levi will get under that one, and he will for the final out of the inning. So Aldridge will set the Settlers down 1-2-3 in the top of the fifth.
So back-to-back times, these two teams have gone 1-2-3, and it's been an absolute pitcher's duel out there. Brady Boucher struggled a little bit early on this contest in the first and second, but after that point, it's settled down. Ben Aldridge threw 5. He's only given up 3 hits, and it's just been nothing short of spectacular.
So Brady Boucher will be out there once again for the Settlers. Had a rocky second inning, but was able to set down Gilkey and Schaefer on strikes and get Solomon to fly out, have the Scouts end that inning. The bases loaded. So great work from Boucher, who is leading the league in ERA. Came in today 0.37 in that category. So up to this point, he's only improving his ERA.
I was half tempted to put in
And coming up this inning for the Scouts, it'll be led off with their number 9 hitter, Jordan Schaefer. He struck out in that second inning. It'll be Lee Solomon. He's 0 for 2 so far today with a ground out back to the fly out to right field. And it'll be Christian Binger, who's 1 for 1 today, had a hit in the first inning and then reached out a walk back in the third inning. And Jordan Schaefer will walk up to the dish. The two-way player for the Scouts. Plays shortstop and has pitched a couple innings.
He's been great in the field today. Has struggled at the plate this season.
First one to Schaefer. In there for a called strike one.
He has struck out in 6 of his 16 plate appearances on the year.
The 0-1. Misses that one down in the turf. Evens it up at 1 ball, 1 strike. Schaefer came in today hitting 133 in the average department. And now the 1-1. This is that one inside.
2-1. Yep.
2-1 count to Schaefer, the Scout shortstop. And the 2-1. Thought about that one, but held up on the one that caught the outside corner. Evens it up at 2-2.
Yeah, Schaefer thought that one was a little away, might have been a little high. But it's going to be caught looking regardless.
And the 2-2. Grounds that one towards the camp at third. And he'll get that one over to Ketchmark in on for the out. And Ketchmark somehow was able to keep control of that one to get the out.
There's definitely a bobble. It was very close. His glove was all the way on the turf. We did see some movement on the ball, but must have corralled it in time to get out Schaefer.
Brings up Lee Solomon. It's 0 for 2 on the day with a ground out and a fly out. First one to Solomon, way inside, and that one hits him, and he'll walk down to first base.
It's going to be the first time of the day that Solomon has gotten on, though. Not the most conventional way, but he's going to put him on regardless. First base right under the scouts have seen. That's the bottom of the third.
Brings up Christian Binger, 1 for 1 on the day with a hit in the first and a walk in the third.
Lee Solomon tied for first on the team with 7 steals on the season.
First one to Binger. Misses low and outside for ball 1.
He does also lead the team in caught steals with 4.
So nonetheless, we could see Lee Solomon on the move if the right things happen out there. The 1-0. Misses low and inside to Christian. 2-0 the count.
Christian's had a great day at the plate. 1 for 1 with a walk. He's now tied for the league in walks. Warren, though, put him sole possession first in the walk category.
The 2-0 is Lee Solomon's on the move, and that one will be hit out of play. So Solomon will have to walk back to first.
And unfortunately, Binger could have strained that one out a little bit more. Get down that third base foul line fair. That would have been the first run of the game because Solomon was flying on the base pass.
So 2-1 the count to Christian Binger. Solomon was on the move on the hit and run last, but we'll see if that's still on. The 2-1. Binger will foul that one out of play. Evens it up at 2-2. Two and 2 count to Christian Binger. 1 down. Bottom of the 5th. Still zeros on the scoreboard. And the 2-2. Solomon on the move. That one's going to be grounded towards catch mark at first. He'll take that one himself for the out, but that will advance Solomon to second.
Doesn't get recorded as such, but that works about the same as the sacrifice because it does put Solomon over there at 2. Now Kyle Carnahan comes to the play with runners in scoring position.
Carnahan will come up to the plate. It's 1 for 2 on the day. Got a hit back in the first inning on the hit and run opportunity. And he flew out so short in the third inning. First one to Carnahan. Misses low for ball 1. Carnahan, 1/2 of the Washburn-Ichabod duo as Washburn teammate David Gunn is on deck.
We talked about he's been so good recently, now batting .266 on the year, 1 for 2 today.
The 1-0. Grounds that one towards Hickey at second. And he'll get that one over to catch mark in time for the final out of the inning. So once again, the Scouts will strand a runner.
And the Scouts have been hitless since the first inning, if I have that correctly. Unless I missed a single in there somewhere, but I see a lot of walks and a couple of hit by pitches. But ever since the first hit from Kyle Carnahan back in the bottom of the first, the Scouts haven't had a base hit.
Yeah, the Scouts had back-to-back hits in the form of Christian Binger, and then Kyle Carnahan hit with a hit and run on, advanced Christian over to third, and then Christian tried to get home and was called out on a close play at the plate. And since then, the Scouts haven't gotten one on by the way of the hit, but have had plenty of guys walked on, and Lee Solomon was hit by a pitch in that last inning.
Yeah, 5 batters total, 4 of them walked, and 1 of them hit by a pitch in Lee. So they're getting base runners that just not getting the bat on the ball.
So now Aldridge out there for now his 6th inning of work. Still no action in either of the bullpens. And you'd have to think that each of these coaches wants their guy to go as far as they can, especially seeing as there's no runs on the board.
Especially since Ben's been relatively throwing very pitches, and his pitch count is not very high. And if he's throwing this way, why not put him in there?
Sellers back to the top of their batting order. Robbie Doring, their shortstop from Dayton. His first batter, Ben Aldridge, will face this inning. First one to him is in there for a called strike one. After Doring, it'll be Dustin Lee, their designated hitter, and Tanner Johnson, their center fielder. The 0-1 misses outside for ball one. 1-1 on the count. Doring 1 for 2 on the day. Had a hit back in the third. The 1-1. Big swing and a miss there from Doring makes it a 1-2 count. Now the 1-2. Big swing and a miss, and Aldridge will get Doring to go down on strike.
That's now strikeout number 3 on the day for them.
Number 5.
Dustin Lee. Actually, they're going to have a pinch, it looks like.
Sorry, number 9. Holbrook.
And Kyle Holbert coming third total before him. He has a 14-game hit streak.
Got to wonder why you'd have a guy with that kind of pitch start off this game on the bench.
I'll tell you my theory for that after this pitch.
First one is in there for a call strike one. What's your theory, Terry?
John Crawford is supposed to get the start today for the Scouts.
The 0-1. It's grounded down the first base line. A foul.
John Crawford is a lefty. Coach Noro knows this. Took out 3 of their left-handed hitters.
Now the 0-2. Big swing and a miss there from Holbrook. And that'll be the second straight strikeout for Aldridge.
As Kyle Holbert, TJ Alas, and Dylan Calhoun all didn't play in this game. All of them hitting 314 and above. But Kyle Holbert about to look for his 15th consecutive hit elsewhere.
Tanner Johnson now up to the plate for the Settlers. Has a pair of groundouts to Lee Solomon.
And Aldridge up to 29 strikeouts, 1 behind Boucher on the day and on the season.
First one to Johnson. In there for a called strike one. Definitely looks like Ben is in his groove here in the 6th inning.
You would think he just started out this game, but here in the 6th, he's firing him, getting ready just as normal.
The 0-1. That one's grounded back towards the Settlers dugout with the 0-2. Ben already ready on the mound. Of course, the fastest working pitcher on the Scouts pitching staff. Now the 0-2. Just able to hold up on that breaking pitch that went way outside. 1-2 to count. Johnson came into there hitting 368. The 1-2, and he grounds that one towards Schaefer at short. And he'll get that one over to tailgating in time for the final out of the inning. Second straight inning. The Settlers go down 1-2-3.
Aldridge took a whole lot off of that pitch, and you think that might have jammed Tanner Johnson up a little bit. Slowly had to swing his bat, slow it down quite a bit to make contact, and just barely fell off the barrel of it towards Jordan Schaefer. Not much speed. Easy one to put away. As Zach Wiley, for the second time this season, yells at the bats to wake up. He throws them all on the field by the first base dugout and screams at him. As Lance is going to try to give an image of the situation. You see the bats over there by the first base dugout. Zach Wiley recently went back into it. And all those bats scattered on the ground talking to from the catcher from Union University, Zach Wiley.
So now we readjust our camera to show you the aftermath of Zach Wiley slamming the bats on the ground. So now David Gaunt will come up to the plate. Still fine-tuning our camera to give you guys the best view we can back at home. So David Gaunt now up to the plate. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts today. First one is grounded back foul. So we'll see if the bats can wake up after Wiley tells them to. They woke up fairly well last time out.
That's true. He was very effective.
Good stuff. They're preaching that church is not great, but the music's really good.
The 0-1. Foul tip there for Gaunt. Would be strike 2. 0-2 out to Gaunt. Gaunt struggling today. Has struck out in each of his first 2 plate appearances.
No, like, big game pastors in Ohio, are they?
The 0-2. Wasted one up and away for ball 1. 1-2 count.
We do have an update around the league. The game has been called between the Southern Ohio Cowboys and Lake Erie Monarchs. That one will be rescheduled for a doubleheader tomorrow. Monarchs are up 3-0 in that one.
1-2. And another swing and miss. Gaunt's going to go down on strikes for the 3rd time today.
It's a rough outing today for the best hitter on the team, David Gaunt. Came into today batting .337.
Maybe the 7th strikeout of the game for Boucher, so he's upping his strikeout total. He'll getting now up to the plate. He's 0 for 1 today. First one is up high for ball 1.
After number 7, that'll be 32 on the year for Boucher.
Now the 1-0. That one's skied way high up. Kale throws his bat down in disgust. And that one will be caught by Doring out in short left field.
Yeah, another high fly ball, but it's not great contact being put on the ball today for the Scouts. Only 2 hits through 5 2/3 here for Xenia.
So now Lincoln Reed is getting ready to go up to the plate. Had to take off his catcher's legs as he's getting the start behind the plate today.
Remember, Scouts have not gotten a hit since back in the bottom of the 1st inning here in inning number 6.
First one to Lincoln. He'll sky that one towards the left field, but it'll get out of play.
Just a little behind on that one, but don't think that's a problem that one went foul because hung up a little bit. I think it might have been put away in left field by Wagner.
The 0-1. And it's basically out in that same exact spot, just a little different timing. Down 0-2 is Lincoln.
Lincoln's the switch hitter, batting lefty right now against Grady Boucher.
And the 0-2. Swung on and missed. That'll be strikeout number 8 for Boucher, and the Scouts go down 1-2-3.
And the 3rd time this game that Boucher's had 2 strikeouts in 1 inning.
So after 6 innings of play, still zeros on the board between the Licking County Settlers and your Xenia Scouts. And the Scouts, like we've said, just have those 2 hits, each of them in the opening inning. So the Scouts haven't had their bats wake up even after Zach Wiley came in. What are they doing? What are the bats doing? They got to wake up.
They're not doing anything. That's what they're doing, Lance. They're not doing a whole lot. Ben Aldridge had to come up for his 7th inning of action. Boucher now at over 90 pitches on the day, 91, I believe, noon. And I wonder how much longer they're going to throw him. I imagine they're going to go to the 7th inning with Boucher in mind, but there is some activity in the Settlers bullpen, so
there's a righty out there throwing with the fence out there. Can't quite tell what number, so I can tell you it's a righty. That's all I can give you at this current time.
Can't tell you it's right. You have to remember the first time these 2 teams played, Boucher 4 innings, didn't give up a run on 2 hits. After that was Nick Patron, who kind of blew the game for the Settlers. He had 5 walks.
I wouldn't say kind. I'd say
Okay, you're right. He did blow the game. As there was 5 walks in that inning. Played a couple of Scouts and blew that one open. Scouts were able to hold on for the 4-3 win, but leave a nasty taste in the mouth of Boucher. I like to avoid the same fate today. Ben's highest innings pitch on the year was 6, so if he reports 1 out, he will break that. That was against the Joes in that 9-3 loss. here at Grady's Field on June 24th.
Goes back to camp and out up to the plate for the Sellers. First one is in there for a call strike one to start off the top of this seventh inning.
Another update, the Hamilton Joe's Green Lake Manners game is canceled.
First one is popped up. That'll bounce over our heads a couple times. First time I've heard it bounce like that.
Yeah, twice, maybe even thrice. I think it just rolled off the press box here.
1-2 count to Zach DeCamp. And he got him looking second time. Now Ben's able to do that to Zach DeCamp. That'll be another strikeout for Ben. That'll be his fifth on the day.
And the thing, DeCamp knew that one as well. It was right down the middle. Did not complain with the umpire behind the plate. Just got him stunned.
Brings up Chad Wagner. He's 1 for 2 on the day. First one to him, and he'll line that one out towards Levi Gilcrease in center field. And Gilcrease will get into that one for the second out of the inning on just one pitch.
That was the fifth strikeout of the day for Ben. That puts him at 30 on the year.
The second baseman, number 7, Hickey.
Kevin Hickey now up to the plate. He's 0 for 2 on the day with a fly out to left and a ground out to Jordan Schaefer over at short. First one in there for a call to strike one, and Ben is doing a great job going right at these areas with a lot of first pitch strikes. The 0-1 just misses outside for a ball 1-1 the count.
I believe this will be the 84th pitch from Ben, so if you can get this better on you, has at least one more inning of work I can see from him.
The 1-1. Catches the outside corner, makes it a 1-ball, 2-strike count to Hickey.
Look at the rotation of that ball. It looked like it was veering out, but curved back in. Just such movement on this fastball.
And the 1-2. And he'll just pop that one up, and Hickey's just goes off after that swing. We saw him, and we'll get into that one to end the top of the seventh inning. And what do you know? The Sellers down 1-2-3 for the third straight time. So good job through 7 innings for Ben Aldridge. Still no activity in the Scouts bullpen, so don't know how much longer we'll see Ben. Got to think he has nothing else. Starts off the 8th inning.
I love them at night, dude.
I think we may have a new pitcher out there for the Settlers. Going to confirm that as soon as we can.
Thank you.
And it looks like we do. Number 17 is Devin Carr from Ohio Northern, from the Licking County area, and from Newark, Ohio, where Licking County plays their home games.
So Boucher goes 6 innings strong, strikes out 8 batters, had 4 walks, but only gave up 2 hits, no earned run. So his .37 ERA is going to go lower. Unbelievable. Now up to 30 1/3 innings this year. Now the season will have 8 walks and 33 strikeouts. Just incredible stuff on the year from Braden Boucher, the pitcher from Louisiana Monroe University, the Warhawk.
Carr throwing his couple warm-up pitches as he comes in to replace Boucher. So we'll see what the Scouts do. Like we said, got to imagine Ben's going to come out to start the 8th inning. If nothing else, still no action in the Scouts bullpen. So lots of faith in Ben. And like we mentioned, his pitch count is still pretty low. So definitely all signs point to Ben being out there in the 8th.
I think you're right. As you get to start the bottom of the 7th here, go through our 7th. I think he strikes. No signs of life there in the Scouts bullpen. And why would there be? Ben Aldridge is pitching an absolute gem.
It'll be the bottom of the order coming up for the Scouts in the bottom of the 7th inning. It'll be Miles Wright. He's 0 for 1 there with a fly out to left field where he just got under the ball. A la Kyle Carnahan, something we see a lot from him, but he did walk back in the 2nd inning. And after him, it'll be Levi Gilcrease, who has struck out in each of his first 2 plate appearances. And Jordan Schaefer, who struck out in the second and grounded out to DeCamp back in the 5th. First one to Miles. Shows bunt, and he'll get it down, but it'll just go foul down that third base line.
He was fortunate there as DeCamp came in screaming as running towards that bunt, and I think he would have been thrown out.
And I'm fairly certain I saw Harry Della Vella walking out to the bullpen for the Lincoln County Settlers. We saw him last time. He comes from Seton Hill. So could see him come in relief of Carr.
Also has 31 strikers on the year. No big deal.
The 0-1 to Miles. Watches that one pass by for a called strike 2. Quickly down 0-2. 1-2 count to the right fielder from St. Edwards. The 0-2. Misses low and outside. Makes it a 1-2 count.
Carr on the year with a 6.27 ERA. Did not pitch against the Scouts in their first go-around.
And the 1-2. And that one's lined into left field just over the head of Zach DeCamp, and that'll be a base hit. Miles is going to round first, head for second, and he's going to be called safe at second. On a close pull, looks like it was actually dropped by Hickey, and Miles is going to be safe on second, extending that single.
Hustle. That's all that is right there is pure, unadulterated hustle. That was a single all the way for Miles right. Somehow turns that into a double because there's no way they thought that Wagner in left field would have expected Miles Wright to go to second base there, but he did. We've seen him do that a couple times this year, and now runner on with no outs in scoring position.
Levi Gilcrease will come up to the plate after Miles Wright extends that single into a double. First one to Levi, and he lines that one into left field. That'll get down for a base hit. They're going to send Miles Wright home, and he's going to be in there after it's cut off by the Camp Scouts. Take a 1-0 lead.
It took a 1-inning delay, but I think Zach Wiley's finally coming home with a bat. They have woken up here in a big way to start the bottom of the 7th.
Jordan Schaefer now coming up to the plate for the Scouts, and it looks like the Scouts just really needed to get Boucher out of the ballgame any way they could, and that was all it took for their bats to finally wake up.
Yeah, that might also have something to do with it.
That could help. Jordan Schaefer up to the plate, 0 for 2 today. First one to Schaefer. He'll put down the bunt, and it'll get down in play. It'll be fielded by Carr. He'll go over to first, but it'll be safe over at first, and catch mark is off the bag. And that'll get Levi over to third. Run corners. Still nobody out.
Do an E1 on that one for a Carr, and it looks like it's going to be kind of a deja vu for the Lincoln County Settlers. Boucher exits the game, and the relief pitcher, this time of the Devin Carr variety, is kind of letting his team down. Scouts now in front of us on the corner. It's a 1-0 lead and no outs.
I think they gave a hit and an error on that one, because I think I saw them put a hit in the Scouts category. So they did give an error too, so a hit but an error on the throw.
Yeah.
So it'll be 3 straight hits for the Scouts after having just 2 all the way up to this point.
Yeah. Error puts Gilcrease on third.
And they're going to have a meeting on the mound with the entire infield.
And Lance did mention earlier, Perry Della Vella warming up, one of the most consistent pitchers for the Lincoln County Settlers. As I mentioned, 31 strikeouts coming into the day. And he's a reliever. He's had the second most innings pitched for the team of 16 and a third. He has 31 strikeouts. And get this, 1 walk.
Wow.
31 strikeouts
1 walk
to 1 walk. That's unbelievable. And a 1-2 record. So a guy that's been in some tough spots this year. But Perry Della Vella, that's a crazy season so far. But nonetheless, the Carr still on the mound.
Salmon comes up to the plate with the Scouts on top 1-0. Runners on the corners. Nobody down in the bottom of the 7th. First one is going to get away from Matteo. And Levi Gilkey's going to come around to score.
And I think that one's on Devin Carr as a wild pitch instead of Matteo as a pass the ball. That one just bounced in the turf past him, put this lead at 2-0.
Asphalt. I would say well pitch. That wasn't very close.
So Schaefer's going to be on second, now advancing on the wild pitch. Scouts take a 2-0 lead over the Licking County Settlers here in the bottom of the 7th. The 1-0 to Solomon. Shows bunt, can't get it down. It'll be in there for a called strike.
That run should be unearned, though, because of the error that we had earlier.
1-1 count to Lee Solomon. Jordan Schaefer over at second. The 1-1. Shows bunt, pulls it down, and it can't be corralled by DiMatteo. And Schaefer's going to advance to third.
So a stolen base from second and third for Jordan Schaefer, as DiMatteo struggled a little bit with that one.
2-1 the count to Solomon. Schaefer now at third with nobody down. First one to Solomon. That one's going to be way outside. Matteo was able to get in front of that one. Calls time to get a new ball.
That was very, very close to the second wild pitch score of the inning, Lance. It's an unbelievable play by DiMatteo, moving to his right on his knees, because that one was in the turf bouncing.
And the 3-1. And that's going to be low for a walk. Solomon will walk over to first. So the Scouts will once again have runners on the corners for Christian Binger.
And the first four batters that have faced DiMatteo have all gone on, and it's just been a nightmare relief effort from the righty from Ohio Northern, the polar bear, looking ice cold out there.
Christian Binger now up to the plate. First one to him. Solomon fakes a steal. And it looks like the umpire called time, apparently, because he got out of the way.
I didn't see time called it. He kind of just walked off.
He's terrible. First one to Christian Binger. In there for a called strike 1. Scouts have runners on the corners. Nobody down. They lead 2-0 here in the 7th inning. Now the 0-1. Breaking pitch in the turf, leaving it up at 1-1.
That one has some nice curve to it from Carr, just a little too low. As we do see Thomas Wanning moving towards the pen for the Scouts.
1-1 count to Binger. Runners at the corners. Schaefer at third, Solomon on first. The 1-1, Solomon fakes the steal again, and that one's lined right back up the middle for a base hit. That's going to score. Schaefer easily makes it a 3-0 ball game.
So 5 up and 5 up now, 5 on for the Scouts. After the third single of the inning, that scores from Schaefer, who singled earlier.
Brings up Kyle Carnahan. Carnahan 1 for 3 on the day.
And Christian's now 2 for 3 with an RBI in this contest. Also has a walk.
Carnahan now up to the plate. Still nobody down. In the bottom of the 7th. Scouts on top. 3-0 over the Settlers. First one to Carnahan. Showed bunt, pulls it back, and it'll be ball 1. So even with the Scouts taking a 3-0 lead, still looking to play small ball here with nobody out.
I believe that run should be earned against Carter because the error did not advance Schaefer from first.
Want to no count to Carnahan. Runners on first and second. And the pitch, and that one's popped up, but now the runners are going to have to get back. And it's caught by Doring, and the runners got back in time and Solomon was originally on the move, as was Christian Binger at first, and they see it popped up, and they had to run back to their bases knowing that was coming.
I'm not sure why Doran didn't even try to go to second base. I think it would have been at least close. He might not have got at least Solomon, but why not try it? Hickey was just standing over there on the bag, and this guy might have got away with a break there.
So now 1 down, bottom of the 7th. David Gaunt up to the plate. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. First one to Gaunt. Solomon's on the move, and so is Binger. They're going to try and get Binger out at second, and he's going to be safe. He's safe at second on a second call from the umpire. He signals safe twice, and Christian Binger will be in there with the steal, as will Lee Solomon.
So a nice double steal for the Scouts. Have been swiping left and right today. That's 3 this inning, and I believe 4 in the game for the Scouts, as Kyle Carnahan's all the way back in the first.
So now runners at second and third for Gaunt, an 0-1 count as that pitch was a strike. And the 0-1. Misses outside and in the dirt. That one's going to get away from DiMatteo. Solomon's going to come around and score and make it a 4-0 ball game.
Second wild pitch of the inning from Carr. Just gets past DiMatteo. That'll put Binger now on third base, and we'll have to see if Della Vella cuts the game as Chris Noro is coming towards the mound. You have to imagine he will.
Unless there was someone else that walked out to the bullpen, it should be Della Vella coming in. And that will do it for Carr. So if it is Della Vella coming in, he'll come into the game with a runner on third and Christian Binger and a 1-1 count to David Gaunt.
So Carr goes a third of an inning. Walks 1, gives up 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. 3 runs, 2 wild pitches that both resulted in runs. So it's a 4-0 game now.
I think that's Nick Patrone out there, actually. Yep, that's Nick Patrone, number 18, coming to the ball. Him and Della Vella must have been out in the bullpen because I still see some action out there. So I think with the game being a little farther out of control, they don't want to waste Della Vella. And they'll bring in Patrone, who, like we mentioned earlier, pitched in the first time the Scouts and the Steelers played and gave up 5 walks.
Yeah, Patrone came in after the 4th inning, and he had a struggle as he gave up a plethora of hits to the Scouts and only had 1 strikeout, walked 5 batters, and gave up 3 earned runs. And that was the downfall of the Steelers in that contest. Today, their downfall has been definitely Carr.
So Nick Patrone's going to come out there in relief of Carr. And Carr was basically set up to fail after Boucher had an amazing game in his 6 innings of work. And it's the same story, different chapter, as it was the same kind of thing when Patrone came in for Boucher the first time these two teams faced off.
See if the hitting can continue now against this new pitcher. They had Carr's number after being sat down all day from Boucher.
So now we'll see if Gaunt's luck can change at the plate. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. So now Nick Patrone set to go. Christian Binger over at third. A 1-1 count to David Gaunt. 1 down. Bottom of the 7th. Scouts on top 4-0. They finally got the bats to wake up here in the bottom of the 7th. The 1-1 to Gaunt. This is up high, 2-1 the count. And the 2-1. Big swing and miss there from Gaunt, even up at 2-2. Two and 2 count to Gaunt. Christian Binger over at third with 1 down here at the bottom of the 7th. And the 2-2. Just misses a little high on that one. Gaunt will make it a full count.
Second time of the day, Gaunt has had a full count.
And the 3-2. And that one actually hit Gaunt, so he will walk over to first.
And that's the second hit batter of the day we've seen. The Solomon was hit back in the 5th inning. That was from Boucher.
Don't you mean Lee Solomon?
So what's that?
You said Kale.
That's at least. I have a weird twitch right
That
now.
might be why.
I definitely.
Kale getting his play. Maybe that's what three. First one to Kale. Big swing and a miss for strike one.
I kind of just like force like an uppercut of Mike Tyson right now.
0-1 count to Kale. Runners at the corners, one down. The 0-1. Held off that one just out of the zone. Makes it a 1-1 count. And the 1-1. One misses low and away. 2-1 the count to Kale.
Again, DiMatteo here in the bottom of the seventh has absolutely worked digging those balls out of the field turf, and we've seen a couple of wild ones get past them, but it's been a rough inning.
And the 2-1. Misses inside. 3-1 count to Kale.
That almost hit him as well, so the bases were almost chalk with a couple of hit batters.
3-1 the count to Kale with runners at the corners. And the pitch. That one's going to miss outside as Gaunt was on the move. So they're going to walk the bases loaded for Lincoln Reed.
So a familiar story from his first start for Nick Patron as he hits a batter and walks a batter to load the bases. And Lincoln Reed is in spot to really do some damage here for the Scouts here in the bottom of the seventh, who have already put 4 across the board. And if you're Brady Boucher right now sitting on the dugout bench, you're just beside yourself because you go out there, throw 6 innings of 2-hit baseball with 8 strikeouts. Don't give up any runs, as it looks like. Are we going to have a change at the mound?
Yep. That was the second meeting of the inning, so.
We will have another change at the mound, so only 2 batters faced from the pitcher.
Looks like it'll be Jeff Peters, the righty. Comes to us from Otterbein College, one of a few Otterbein Cardinals in the league. No, at least there's Jeff Zimmerman on the Hamilton Joes is another one.
Interesting fact about Peters. This is his first day with the team. I learned about that right before from the Settlers broadcast crew. It's first ever appearance for the Lincoln County Settlers.
So Lincoln Reed is going to face Jeff Peters. Peters, a senior at Otterbein, comes from Powell, Ohio. 6', 180.
And as long as Lincoln doesn't hit into a double play, the Scouts will bat around, and Miles Wright is on deck right now with his second at-bat of the inning.
And you got to wonder if this was the only thing that could slow down Ben, is his team finally waking up. That's why there's 2 guys out warming up in the bullpen. This long layoff might be what does Ben Aldridge in for the day.
I think you might be right, as we definitely see a lot more activity in the Scouts bullpen. I see Tony Campbell out there. Thomas Wanning's been throwing for a while. It's kind of like a long rain delay. You don't want your pitcher sitting for too long and send him back out there, especially after he's already pitched 7 really good innings. So you have to imagine the day's over for Ben.
And Jeff Peters warming up for the Settlers. Like I said, this is his first day with the ball club, and they weren't even sure if he would be on point streak yet, but nonetheless, he was. And we'll get to see him in his first action with the Settlers right here against the Scouts. So that'll bring up Lincoln Reed, the switch hitter. Will still be batting lefty against the righty Peters. Lincoln is 0 for 2 today. Did have a walk back in the second inning. Bases are loaded for Lincoln Reed.
An incredibly short day for Nick Petrone. We faced 2 batters.
First one to Lincoln. In there for a called strike 1. 1-1 count to Lincoln Reed. Bases still loaded. The 0-1 misses way outside. That's going to send home Christian Binger. He's going to slide in there to make it a 5-0 ball game.
And that's the 3rd wild pitch score we've seen of this inning. I don't know if I've ever seen 3 runners come across in 1/2 inning on wild pitches.
So now David going over at third. Cale Giddings over at second. Scouts lead 5-0. They're in the bottom of the 7th with 1 down.
That run will be credited back to Carr, who was 2 pitchers ago.
Now the 1-1. And that one's lined way out towards left field. Actually, right field. And that one's going to be caught by Curitin. That's going to send home gone. So that'll be a sac fly. Lincoln Reed. That makes it a 6-0 Scouts lead.
Sac fly, RBI, and the Scouts will bat around as Miles Wright is up for the 2nd time in this inning. I believe that run will be a credit to Nick Petrone. Hard to keep him all straight as we've seen 3 pitchers in this inning.
So Miles Wright will come up to the plate for the 2nd time this inning. Stretched out a single into a double first time up. First one to Miles, and that one's a line in there for another base hit. That will be his 2nd of the day. That will score home kill to make it 7-0.
So RBI single for Miles Wright, who has singled and doubled in this inning.
So that'll bring up Levi Gilcrease for the 2nd time this inning as well. There's now 2 down here. Scouts on top 7-0 in the 7th. They've put 7 runs on the board this inning. First one to Levi. That one's in the dirt. Good stop there to keep it from being another wild pitch. We've seen a plethora of those this inning.
Absolutely. It's just seemed like one after another. And again, Brady Boucher over there after throwing a gem. And 7 runs coming across the board in his absence.
1-0 count to Levi. They'll check on Miles over at first. He's in there in time. Still a nice pickoff move from Peters.
With Cale coming across, that run also credited to Nick Petrone.
1-0. Miles fakes the steal. That one's in the dirt again. 2-0 they count now. Now the 2-0. That one's up top. That'll make it 3-0.
I'm going to feel a little bit for Peters because this is his first appearance of the season. We're pretty far away from the college baseball season back with the Otterbein Cardinals. So he might have not thrown competitively in a while.
Now the 3-0. In there for a called strike 1. Makes it a 3-1 count to Gilcrease. And 3-1. In there for another strike, and they'll check on Miles at first. He's back there in time, and a full count to Levi.
It was a great takeoff attempt by DiMatteo. And nice job of Miles Wright to get back in time. Might be caught off guard.
And the 3-2. Miles on the move, and that one's skied out towards right field, but it will get out of play. And even though that got out of play, it's going to be better hit balls we've seen from Levi this season. And the 3-2. Swung on and missed. That will set down Gilcrease on strikes for the 3rd time today, but not before the Scouts drop 7 runs in this inning to take a 7-run lead after 7 innings of play. Lots of 7s here for the Scouts, a holy number, so it makes sense for the Scouts.
Yeah, and the Scouts just blew this one wide open. So we'll see what pitcher comes into the game. I don't expect to see Ben Aldridge. Joe Chasen.
That looks like Joe Chase.
So Joe Chasen coming here in the 8th inning. We usually see him in the 9th in a closing role. But Joe Chasen will take over for Ben Aldridge
Number
after
27 on the mound.
7 incredibly strong innings from Ben Aldridge. 5 strikeouts, no walks, and only 3 hits given up. He's just been he was unbelievable today.
So a great job from Ben, but the long inning from the Scouts is the only thing that really could do him in today. So we'll have to see if the bullpen can pick up where he left off.
And Joe Chasen comes into today with a 6.23 ERA. He's had 13 innings pitched out of the pen. He has 9 walks on the year compared to his 13 strikeouts, a 1-1 record, and 2 saves on the season. Last time we saw Joe was in their last game against the Lima Locos here on Sunday. He pitched an inning of that one, gave up 1 hit and had 1 strikeout and 4 batters faced.
So we'll see what we get from Joe Chasen today. And we'll be facing the bottom of the Settlers order and catch mark Matteo and Luke Curitan. They're 7-8-9 hitters.
The first baseman, 19.
Catch mark now at the plate. First one to him. Gonna be grounded foul. I think that one hit off his leg. Catch mark, one of the few guys from Dartmouth on this other squad. And now the 0-1. That one's lined nicely down the left field. Go foul. 0-2 count.
I believe so.
Two count to catch mark. The 0-2 pitch. Just missing a little low and away. And it'll make it a 1-2 count. Jason looking for his first strikeout of the day. And the 1-2. That one's lined into left field. That one will get down for a base hit in front of Christian Banger out there in left. That'll force Catchmark to stay at first after the off single.
So first hit of the day for Michael Catchmark.
Number 33, Donato. Sorry, buddy.
So now DeMatteo up to the plate.
Hey, it's super windy, right?
First one to him is grounded foul. A little bit of mist coming down here at Grady's field. I think the turf can handle this, though. Very light mist.
Yeah, I suppose so. They've seen some pretty decent storms and gotten through it. I think a light misting's gonna get past old Grady.
1-1 count to DeMatteo. The 0-1. Just misses outside, makes it a 1-1 count. This is just his 5th game with the club for DeMatteo. Got his first hit back the 3rd inning. And Jason will check on Catchmark at first. He'll be in there in time.
And some final tallies from the bottom of the 7th inning. 5 hits, 7 runs, 1 error, and 1 left on.
Next one misses low and gets away from Lincoln behind the plate. Catchmark will advance to second easily.
So a pass ball. We'll get Catchmark to second in scoring position. Sellers trying to get the first run of the game on.
2-1 count. This catch mark advanced on the pass, ball to second. Two and one count. And 2-1 pitch. Breaking pitch comes in there nicely for strike two. 2-2 to count.
Yeah, beautiful curve from Jason. He throws a sidearm pitch. Not to the degree of Thomas wanting, but sorry, I'm nonetheless.
And the 2-2. That one's hit out towards right field and Miles right. He'll get under that one for the out, and that will keep catch mark over at second.
Don't see any activity in the Scouts bullpen. A few pitchers out there, but none of them throwing. Magic Coach Case wants Jason to finish out this game. Don't want to use too many arms. They have 5 more games in the next 5 days.
Now it looks like there will be a pinch hitter. It'll be Dylan Calhoun coming in for Luke Kierton. First one to Calhoun in there for a call strike one. And now the 0-1. And that one's lined out of play. Makes it 0-2 to Calhoun, coming in as a pinch hitter.
So we saw Kyle Holbrook pinch hit for Dustin Lee, and he struck out. Now 0-2 to Dylan Calhoun, who came to pitch hit for Luke Kierton.
1-2 count to Calhoun. Catch mark still at second. And he'll go down swinging, and that'll be Jason's first strikeout of the day.
That was a beautiful pitch. Calhoun didn't know what to do with that one. It's like my golf swing as it was going through on his follow through. He's like, why am I even doing this? And now there's 2 sat down.
Yes.
I love how you related that back to your golf swing.
And you've seen the lanes. It's pretty terrible.
I can't argue that. Doring now up to the plate. First one's in there for a called strike.
And Doring struck out last time he was up. That was back in the top of the 6th. 6th time Steelers have been put down on strikes this game.
The 6th inning feels like an eon ago after that long 7th inning.
Indeed.
Now the 0-1. Big hack and a miss there from Doring. He down 0-2.
Jason's slider really working well so far. Just moving across that strike zone, in and out of it.
So 0-2 count to Robbie Doring. We're shortstop from Dayton. The 0-2. Just misses a little low. Jason was walking off. Thought that might have been strike 3, but he'll have to go back to a 1-2 count. One-two count to Doring. Catch mark still at second. And the 1-2. Just misses low on that one again. 2-2 count to Doring. As Terry's tweet just deletes in front of him for no reason.
It's from that guy, Lance.
And the 2-2 is going to be popped up. Looks like that one will stay in play. And that one's going to get down as they lose it in the lights. They're going to check him at third on a nice throw from Lee Solomon, but that should have been the inning ending out.
Yeah, you got to feel for Chase on that one. As that should have been Kale's ball all the way. Lee Solomon came all the way to help him at first base, but all bounces off the turf to the dismay of all the scouts around the area. They had a little bit of a powwow like a campfire, and it just fell to the field turf. And Joe Chasen really smarting after that hit giving up.
Kyle Holbrook to the plate. First one of him misses outside. Ball one. Holbrook has, was it a 14-game hitting streak coming into the day?
It does, and at the end, it does not get hit here. Put in a tough spot because it wasn't put on till the 6th inning. So Coach Nora kind of put him in a tough spot there.
And the 1-0. That's going to be grounded past Solomon. And right as you say that, he gets that one in play to extend his hitting streak and gets the Settlers on the board.
And there goes the shutout as that misplayed ball at first base. Now puts the first run on the board, and the Scouts are up 7-1.
Yes.
So Tanner Johnson will come up to the game, up to the plate, and like I said, got a feel for Joe Chase out there. Had the third out popped up, and then Solomon and Giddings and Miles Wright just couldn't find it, and no one really took control and commanded them to that ball, and that's going to end the shutout.
I don't know how much he cares about that, but that's just going to hurt his ERA for no reason.
First one to Tanner Johnson, and called actually a swinging strike one. That's an 0 for 3 on the day with 3 groundouts. He 0-1. And there for a called strike 2. Jason's up 0-2. Settlers have runners on first and second. 2 down. Settlers trail 7-1 to the Scouts here in the top of the 8th. And now the 0-2. And he'll get him to go down on strikes. That'll be Chase's second strikeout of the day. But the Settlers get a run on the board. Real 7-1.
That was great resiliency we saw from Joe Chase, and his infield let him down beforehand. He should have got out of the inning scoreless, but comes right back after giving up an RBI single to Holbrook, whose hitting streak is at 15 now. And now with a 7-1 score, strikes out a couple, and a good job from Chasey.
Jeff Peters is going to be out there for another inning of work. And then relief of Carr, who started before Patron came in. So this is the 4th pitcher the Settlers have used.
Carr went a third of an inning. Nick Patron faced 2 batters before he was taken out. Hit one and walked the other before we saw Peters pitch the final 2 thirds. And as a measuring question, really hoping 1 2/3 to close out pitching on the day for the Settlers, assuming the Scouts will absolutely crumble on the top of the 9th inning. I'm 7-1 now, coming to the plate here in the bottom of the 8th.
And Calhoun will stay in the game in right field. He came in for Luke Curitan as a pinch hitter. Jordan Schaefer will lead off the inning.
Number 8, Jordan Schaefer.
And Calhoun, 86 at bats, and you move anyone else on the team, the normal starter in right field. So
First one is into the turf for ball 1.
I expect to see a completely different lineup for the Settlers tomorrow, as I imagine Holbrook, TJ Lash, and Dylan Calhoun will most all likely be in the starting lineup.
Now the 1-0. And that one's going to be grounded towards the camp. But he got in front of the shortstop. And Schaefer will be safe at first. And they will say he's off the bag. I don't know about that one either. That was a close one, too.
I am ahead. You get it out.
So they're gonna,
That was the camp. So you got to think that's ruled an error since they said he came off the base.
but I think they're rolling a hit up here in the press box.
It's not right.
I don't think so either, but that's what's being ruled.
Jeff, what did you roll it? And our stats rule, Jeff Connor will rule it a hit, so we will rule it a hit. And they're going to send him back and say he's out.
It's an out. That's a 5-3.
And now it's an out. So it went from an error to a hit to now an out. Coach Case wants an explanation. I want an explanation. Because they said he was off the bag. I don't know what changed. They just decided that, yeah, he was on the bag, but apparently so.
An umpires.
So
He was an umpire on Saturday with a bunch of questionable calls, too.
we've seen him a lot this year.
And he stinks.
Lance letting it all hang out.
First one, at least Tom's going to foul back over our head. If it was a one-time thing, I'd say, okay, you're going to miss some calls. This is a reoccurring theme. That's why you get the words from me like you do. The 0-1 bounces in the turf, away in front of the plate, way outside of the batter's box. 1-1 count to Solomon. And the 1-1. Misses a tad outside. 2-1 the count to Lee.
This is Lee's 5th plate appearance. He's 0 for 2 today, but has got on with walks, and he was hit by a pitch.
And 2-1. Misses upstairs. 3-1 the count.
Yeah, I feel for Jordan Schaefer. Thought he had a 2 for 4 day, and now it's 1 for 4 after being put back towards the dugout.
And the 3-1. It is the outside corner for a strike. It'll be a full count. 3-2 to Lee Solomon.
First time someone's seen a full count today.
And the 3-2. He's going to line that one past a diving catch mark at first. That may have gotten off his glove, but still Solomon's going to round first, head for second. He's going to be at second easily.
So a double for Lee Solomon. Austin Orr comes in to replace Christian Dinger. We heard that Austin Orr is cleared for a little bit of throwing. Can't imagine the put him in the field yet. We'll have to see how this changes the scouts lineup.
So Austin Orr is going to come in for Christian Binger. Binger was 2 for 3 on the day with an RBI in that big 7th inning.
Another great day for Christian Binger.
So we'll see what happens in the field after this half of the inning. And Austin Orr is cleared for throwing, but doesn't mean he's ready to play the field as of yet. So we'll see what that amounts to. First one to Austin. Way outside. Solomon's going to walk over to third.
And that one hit the netting. It was so far outside and rolled behind the backstop. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Lee Solomon last time stole third base. A lot easier for second and third this time around. A wild pitch for Peters. That'll be his second of the day. And 4th of the day period for the Settlers.
So 1-0 count to Austin Orr, his first at-bat of the day. Comes to us from Union University in Jackson, Tennessee.
Austin batting .212 on the year.
1-0 in there for a called strike 1-1 the count. And Austin is near the tops of the team in walks, even though he has a lot less at-bats than most of the other guys on the team.
He has 11, which is tied for second on the team with 3 players, Levi Gilcrease and David Gaunt.
1-1 in there for a strike. Austin tried to put a swing on it, wasn't able to get anything. 1-2 the count. Lee Solomon over at third, 1 down, bottom of the 8th, outs on top, 7-1. 1-2 pitch, Austin Orr will fly that one out of play. We'll do it again at 1-2.
And just a little late on that one. Nice swing, took a good cut with under the ball and was pushed behind us, but it's a little front of that one. That one's going some distance.
And the 1-2. That one will be popped up. That one will just get out of the infield. That one will be caught by Hickey, and Solomon will fake like he's going to come home to score, but he's going to stay over to third.
And just like we saw earlier when Kale Guineas at least has some trouble with the ball just drifting up high in the sky on those foul balls because there's a lot of wind up in the air.
Wyatt Hogan is on deck, so it looks like he could bat for David Gaunt, who has been struggling today.
David Gaunt at DH, so I imagine Wyatt Hogan's going to be playing left field and also be moved to the DH spot.
First one to Kyle will be grounded towards the camp at third. And he'll get that one over to catch mark in time for the out. So Scouts won't be able to add on to their lead after 8 innings to play. They lead 7-1 over the Settlers.
That's a 7th runner left on base today. Normally a talking point for us, but with a 7-1 lead and 7 runs coming across the 7th inning alone. I think the Scouts can deal with that. And 7 runners on.
And Bravo is going to be out in left field.
They could do this since Wyatt wasn't officially put in the game. Imagine they're going to go Bravo left field. So we see if Jonathan Bravo comes to the plate last time.
Joe Jason's going to be out there for another inning of work. And Terry, the Scouts probably won't need to come to the plate next inning.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. That's fine.
Hopefully.
Bravo, a better outfielder than Wyatt Hogan. Wyatt, traditionally an infielder, plays first base at Hendrix College in Arkansas. Bravo, not particularly an outfielder earlier, but did say that he had outfield experience coming into the year with the Scouts and has played almost completely outfield after the first few games at second base. So, definitely a smart substitution from Coach Case to get Bravo out in the field.
So Bravo will go out to left field. The rest of the fielders appear to be the same. Now we'll be at the middle of just past the middle of the order for the Settlers. Zach DeCamp will lead it off. He struck out a couple times today. That was, of course, when Ben Aldridge was pitching. Then it'll be Chad Wagner, baseman Kevin Hickey.
Now batting, we don't have on the order, number 10.
It looks like there's a pinch hitter for Zach DeCamp.
Do it. You won't do it. You're chicken.
It's Woody Wallace, the catcher, coming in for DeCamp.
First one misses for ball one to Woody Wallace. Woody Wallace, just saw this article online today, will be catching bullpen in the All-Star game in Cincinnati. He, of course, from the University of Cincinnati, originally from Lewis Center, Ohio, just near Columbus. Next one ends in there for called strike one. 1-1 the count.
And did I mention that the slider was working for Joe Chase? Woody Wallace backed up like he was going to be hit, and it came back into the zone.
Now the 1-1. That's going to get behind Wallace and apparently just nicked him, so he'll walk to first base.
Did I mention the slider was working? I was completely wrong as he hit the bat on the next pitch. So for the second straight inning, Joe Jason puts the first batter on. Woody Wallace, who just came on the game.
Chad Wagner now will come up to the plate. 1 for 3 on the day. First one to him. In there for a called strike one.
As I wonder if Woody Wallace will get to start a catcher tomorrow for DiMatteo. And that's what we saw last time back when Ian Criston was still on the team. Woody Wallace started game 2.
Now the 0-1. Thought about that one that broke outside, but laid it off. Evens it up at 1-1. Then you have to think Woody Wallace will be the catcher tomorrow. Probably don't want DiMatteo catching 2 straight days, and they appear to be the only 2 catchers on the roster now. Now the 1-1. That one's lined out towards center field. Looks like that one will get caught by Levi Gilchrist. Thought that one might have gotten over his head as it was nicely hit off the bat, but able to get to that one for the first out of the inning.
And even when it looks like a good hit, Levi Gilchrist might be in some trouble. Seems like he backs up so quickly with it. It doesn't even phase.
Now Kevin Hickey will be up to the plate with one down here at the top of the ninth. Scouts on top, 7-1. First one to Hickey. Just misses for ball one.
He 0 for 3 today. Plus at least Solomon last time.
Now the 1-0. That one's going to be popped out towards right field, it looks like. And Miles Wright will get into that one for the second out of the inning, and that will force Wallace to go back to first.
A good communication between Wright and Solomon last time. We saw the danger that can happen if you don't have that, as we have that single bloop in front of Lee Solomon and Kale Giddings that time. Here, Miles Wright all the way up here in the press box, calling off Lee, saying, "This one's mine, I'll put it away."
So that'll bring Michael Ketchmark up to the plate. He led off the 8th inning with a hit and came around to score the only run of the game for the Settlers. And that one's popped out towards right field again in that same location. This time Lee Sauber won't get under it for the final out, and the Scouts finally break that 6-game losing streak. And Ben Aldridge will be our player of the game, his second time this season.
So the Scouts finally end the losing skid. It stops at 6, Lance, and this week off to a good note. The Scouts lost all 6 of their contests last week, already getting in the W column. Today here at Grady's Field now will be 15-12 on the year. Settlers dropped their 4 straight, now are at 11-14. Big one because Scouts holding on to that 6th spot. Only 6 spots for the Great Lakes League playoffs, still fighting off the Lorain County Ironman, so they have to win games, and they did great here. And Ben Aldridge, 7 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts, 3 hits given up in those 7 innings, no walks, and of course no runs, the most important stat of them all. It was just an unbelievable day for Ben, and couldn't be more deserving of his second player of the game award.
And you got to think that one run that did score was kind of a fluke run, as they had 2 outs and then just miscommunication there between the right side of the infield and Miles right, because no one got to that one. He was going to get to that, and then Lee called him off, and then Lee didn't know where the ball was, and it dropped in for a single, and that later brought around the first run of the game.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Joe Chase, who came in the 8th inning relief and had 2 down on runner. The batter down to his last strike, popped way up in the air, and it just fell in front of Lee Solomon and Caleb Giddings. As Ben Aldridge up here in the press box, today's player of the game, will give him the headset, and Lance will interview Ben.
Appreciate it. What's up, Lance?
How you doing, Ben? Now we have Ben. We're going to have the camera back here. So we'll hold it for us. So, Ben, 6-game skid coming into the day. How does it feel to finally get one in the W column?
Oh, man, it's great. It's great for, just morale. And that's the biggest thing. Getting away yesterday, getting to serve, I think really helped us. Just getting to see some different people and just kind of getting your mind off the game, and then you just regroup and get back out there.
So you really seem to be working today. You finished with a lot of strikeouts. You're near the top of the league in strikeouts. So you struck out Zach, their cleanup hitter, twice looking. What was different about his approach to the plate that you got him to go down looking twice?
Man, I didn't know where I was in the lineup at any point. Lincoln did a great job of calling the game. Balls and strike. But he did a great job, calling the game. And when he called, I felt good with, and we just kind of made adjustments as the game rolled. I just can't say how good of a job he did back behind the plate. A catcher means a lot, whether they get credit or not. They mean a lot.
So you were rolling all the way through that game. Was that big Scout 7th inning? Was that the only reason you didn't come back out for the 8th?
Yeah, we went kind of long. Pitch counts kind of getting a little up there. You don't want to get hurt during the summer, and so we were trying to keep an eye on pitch count. And we went a little longer than expected, and so you just got to keep it all in perspective. We still got more games to play this summer.
So, Ben, you guys get the win today. You'll be facing the same Lincoln County team tomorrow. So hopefully we can get 2 in a row after that nice long skid. So, Ben, great job today.
Appreciate it.
Now we'll get Terry Lash back on the headset as best as we can. So, Terry, the Scouts finally break the skid. They win today by a score of 7-1.
Yeah, they look great out there. Well, Brady Boucher and Ben Aldridge had an absolute duel as we're still trying to finagle our camera here, bending a little bit down to crouch into frame. But it was 7.5 innings of just flawless baseball between 2 pitchers having great days. Brady Boucher pitched 6 innings, struck out 8, only gave out 2 hits. Ben Aldridge, who was our player of the game, went 7 as he finished that inning. And that was the difference. That 7th inning, the Scouts 5 hits, 7 runs, 1 costly error, a couple walks, a hit by a pitch. 3 pitchers were put out there from the Settlers, and the Scouts just really opened it up, and they needed it. They needed that inning because if you look at the rest of the game, their bats weren't working. Remember, Zach Wiley, it's hard to believe. You're screaming at the bats to wake up all the way back, and before the sixth, before the bottom of the sixth inning, because the Scouts weren't doing much. 2 hits through 6 innings, but finally came through. Hopefully that big inning's going to have them gain some momentum going to tomorrow's contest.
And the biggest things in this game are usually the things that aren't detected on the scoreboard. 2 times Zach Wiley has told the bats to wake up. It didn't wake up right when he wanted him to, but the Scouts finally got those bats to wake up in a big 7th inning in which the Scouts batted around.
Yeah, 11 batters at the plate that time. Miles Ryan, Levi Gilchrist had to go twice. Miles went 2 for 2 that inning with an RBI single and a double to start everything off. So he did great today as well. A lot of these players had a great games, finally breaking out of a lot of slumps we've been seeing. And he has to just hope that tumbles along and continues to roll towards a more productive approach that we saw last week.
And honestly, if Ben didn't have a great game like he did, Miles probably would have been player of the game. Went 2 for 3 with a walk back in that 2nd inning. So he was one of the guys that finally got those bats to wake up, had 2 hits in that 7th inning, like we mentioned. So Miles had himself a great day after struggling this past weekend.
Yeah, a couple of those guys had a great claim for player of the game. Christian Bingham went also 2 for 3 for an RBI as well. Lee Solomon went 2 for 4. He also had a double, stolen base scored. A lot of players the Scouts had just at least a claim for it, but just an unbelievable day at the mound for Ben Aldridge, completely deserving for the first time since the first game of the season.
Scouts win by a score of 7-1. They break the 6-game losing skid they had dating back to last Tuesday against the Hamilton Joes. We'll be back in action right here tomorrow against the same Lincoln County Settlers to try and get 2 in a row for the first time in a long time. See you tomorrow. Thank you, and God bless.